Aaron Ramsdale makes a mistake again. Now, Arsenal fans, during Aaron Ramsdale's time at this football club, that is something we've heard frequently. Let's have a chat about. Now, Arsenal Football Club returned to the Emirates to play Brentford. Many Arsenal fans travelled to the Emirates hoping to catch Aaron Ramsdale's potentially last game for the football club and hope he got a clean sheet, people. We all wish he did. Unfortunately, on the stroke of halftime, Aaron Ramsdale made a vital mistake. What pass he saw, I don't know. Could it have been a more simpler pass he could have played? I don't know. Either way, Wisa picked his pocket, back of the net. Aaron Ramsdale mistake, heart in mouth moment. We've been here before, but my heart bled for the guy, man. It's nice to know Kai Havertz and his teammates got him out of jail and rallied behind him. It's also lovely to see Aaron Ramsdale doing the ears thing after. He's shameless in that regards. But it's a far cry from the man who, you know, was nominated for the PFA Team of the Year, kept 14 odd clean sheets, was signed a new deal and drew big praise from Edu and Mikel Arteta. Arteta's also never been shy about talking up Aaron Ramsdale's character. And in August, you know, the season started in the best way. We beat Manchester City in the Community Shield of the English Super Cup. And you would have thought Aaron Ramsdale to go with Declan Rice, Benjamin White and Bukayo Saka as part of the English core. Now, when Ramsdale comes out and says he can't focus and then he makes these mistakes, his peak, and as much as I think Ramsdale has some good qualities, which we'll get onto, there's a lot of question marks. And when he has come in this season, it hasn't always been joyous. I don't think every mistake he's made has been on him, but there's been some calamitous errors in his time. We all remember the Southampton mistake and what that potentially meant for the title. We all remember Aston Villa scoring from a corner where, again, he's not alone, but your keeper could have done a bit better. One major issue of his is his collecting of crosses, and sometimes I think when he comes off his line, he comes off his line quite frequently. Say what you want about Aaron Ramsdale and all his mistakes. He's still a young keeper, but he does make a lot of vital saves. I love his mentality. I like when Aaron Ramsdale was constantly called into action, because that seems like when he's at his best. When he has to sit and focus and be a passenger for the majority of the game, he's in issues. Shout out to him for Liverpool and Leeds away last season in particular. I've got a lot of time for Aaron Ramsdale. I think he deserves to go somewhere he's going to play week in, week out. It is what it is, people. We have to get comfortable with difficult decisions. It's easy to fall in love from a footballing sense with Aaron Ramsdale. He reminds you of a really working class individual. And again, when you think of Ramsdale, that save to deny James Maddison in his Leicester days from a free kick, you cannot make the mistake of thinking Aaron Ramsdale was not a good keeper. There's been, for all his mistakes, there's been numerous times he's got this football club out of jail. There's a reason he got nominated for the PFA Team of the Year, and a reason him and the rest of the team kept 14 clean sheets odd last season. Whatever you say about Aaron Ramsdale, he always fronts up to the music, and every time he's let this club quote unquote down, he has stood up to be counted, really and truly. I do think at times he's been done dirty by his teammates, but as I said, there's been several times he saved our bacon, really and truly. I don't know how it got to this. I don't know what Mikel Arteta saw in terms of David Raya, which we'll get onto as an upgrade on Aaron Ramsdale. I mean, I do, but for the purpose of this video, I don't. But yeah, people, you know, it is quite sad to see Aaron Ramsdale's demise. Whenever he comes in, he does quote unquote look shaky, and he is a good keeper. You know, at one point 12 months ago, we was talking about him potentially taking Pickford's space as England #1 goalkeeper, people. I mean, if it can happen for you, it can happen to you. And we saw this with Leno when Aaron Ramsdale initially arrived. You know, Ramsdale's dad hasn't been shy about speaking and said he doesn't know why things happen. He said Aaron Ramsdale lost his smile. Now, when your dad's speaking and you say you can't concentrate, you open yourself up to a lot of criticism. Arteta said on David Raya, he brings better qualities for our game model. Mikel Arteta hasn't been shy for making unpopular decisions. You've seen it with Kieran Tierney. You've seen it to a degree with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. When it looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel in a player's future, that's when they're gone. Nicolas Pepe obviously has met the sword of Mikel Arteta. Bit of different reasons, but the captain Aubameyang has departed the football club. Big up Ramsdale for his 89 appearances for the club. A shame he couldn't get 100. He made 153 appearances across his time at several clubs in the Premier League. So he his experience. He can leave with his head held high. You know, David Raya has come in for a lot of criticism owing to the Aaron Ramsdale stuff. Do I think he's fully convinced? No, but I like him. And you have to wonder, for all the criticisms you have to say about David Raya and if he's an upgrade on Aaron Ramsdale, ask yourself the question, why did Arteta regardless see this as the player to sign for the club? Now, the whole club rallied behind his mistake. You can see Saliba and Arteta. So yeah, fortunately we got 3 points and we're laughing. Now, when it comes to Aaron Ramsdale, unfortunately, when you make mistakes like that, people are going to say that's why David Raya plays. That's why, Aaron Ramsdale was on the bench. And I don't think they're wrong. I do think generally Arsenal fans need to get comfortable with Mikel Arteta making uncomfortable decisions on players that are quote unquote fan favorites. We're not going to get over the hill, in the current state. The players that helped us get Champions League football again might not and are not the players that help us get Champions League and aspire for a title challenge. The players that one day might help us win a Premier League title may not be the ones that help us retain it. And obviously Champions League and so on and so forth. As Mikel Arteta has an image of where he wants his team, his philosophy and his football club to go, he has an element of ruthlessness, which all managers have. You look at someone he learned from in Pep Guardiola. Look what happened with Joe Hart, really and truly. I don't think David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale one's necessarily, levels above each other. I think they're both in the same bracket. I do think they both have, good distribution. I think Ramsdale's distribution is good, but it's not on the level of David Raya's. I think both can be erratic in different ways, and I think both have concerns. But it does look like David Raya is an upgrade on Aaron Ramsdale. That's the cold-hearted truth. And if that's what Mikel Arteta wants to do, and we're ticking over, fighting for the title and things, then it is what it is. Why Aaron Ramsdale has looked shaky in a couple of occasions he's had, I don't know, because the two in the Premier League against Brentford, where I love the camaraderie around him with the players and stuff, but he has looked shaky. Is that down to a lack of game time, some fans might say? I think there's every logic. There probably is an element of rustiness with Aaron Ramsdale, but where is he going to get that? If life was fair, we do have a lot less. And again, while we need to rotate, and Mikel Arteta has not been shy to talk about rotating keepers since his time at the club, and we've got one of the finished squads, it's a fallacy. Anyone who saw what Mikel Arteta said in the summer and really thought he was going to rotate keepers, you saw it with Leno, obviously at the point of when Ramsdale got his extended run in the team, and you knew it was going to happen again. There's something to be said for stability. In the last 2 years, which Aaron Ramsdale was part of it last season, we've had one of the best defenses in the Premier League. Football is about partnerships and relationships all across the field. It is unrealistic to expect, the back five and the midfield to consistently be rotated. And Aaron Ramsdale's going to be a victim of that, unfortunately, if I'm completely honest with you. Why Aaron Ramsdale looks shaky, I don't know. Is it a lack of game time? Is it underconfidence? Is it overconfidence? Is it a bit of everything? I don't know. Looking at the Brentford game, I big up Aaron Ramsdale because he made 2 good saves and reacted well. And I do think, he was trying his best to showcase his distribution skills against Brentford, and a couple of wayward passes. Again, it's not quite David Raya. I think it was probably overconfidence because he tried a couple of great defense splitting long balls forward, and he had that lovely bullet throw for Trossard in the first half. So I think he started well. And obviously, I think a bit of that led to him probably taking one touch too many and Wisa picking his pocket and temporarily drawing his side a level. Now, I do think, Mikel Arteta and every football manager who has ball playing centre halves, you look at Alisson and Van Dijk, with the goalies in centre halves. I do think, you have to be prepared for mistakes like that to happen. It's happened with Ramsdale. It's going to happen with Raya. It's going to happen time and time again. These things happen. You sign up for that when you play to the way that you try to play. But David Raya, that's going to happen less frequently. And I think David Raya sticks to what Mikel Arteta demands of him a bit more. Ramsdale does have prone to moments of erraticness like David Raya, but across 90 minutes, David Raya has a cool and more collected head. I think his ball distribution is a lot better than Aaron Ramsdale's in that regards. And I think that's simply put why he's in the starting 11. And obviously through this video, I think the most damning thing you saw with Mikel Arteta is he basically said David Raya fits our model more. And he's also previously said Raya sees things that isn't necessarily seen. So Aaron Ramsdale ain't got that in his locker, really. He can leave with his head held high. I hope he gets a big club. He's still only 24. And if he could iron out certain elements of his game and improve his concentration, then it would be great. I am happy that with Arsenal's form at the moment, the circus of Aaron Ramsdale versus David Raya, whichever one plays well or doesn't play well, nobody really cares at the moment. At the start of the season, it was a bit of a circus. I don't think it was fair to Aaron Ramsdale or David Raya or Mikel Arteta, but you can't control the outside noise. At the end of the day, David Raya has been part of the back five, which have kept, some of the most clean sheets in the Premier League. and we've got one of the best defensive sides in Europe. And again, he's played all the big games and he's done generally quite well, bar the occasional few. I know he got done dirty against Chelsea. Only time will tell in relation to David Raya or letting Aaron Ramsdale go. I mean, Mikel Arteta's had a lot of keepers at this time. Matt Turner's been and gone. Runnison, probably the worst of them all, been and gone. We've had the Leno versus Ramsdale. Obviously, it's Ramsdale versus David Raya. Emi Martinez was let go. There's been quite a turnover. I do wonder to see which goalie will come into this club when expected Aaron Ramsdale leaves in the summer. You probably need to kind of take a leaf out of Man City's book and have like an Ortega sort of level goalie, someone that can still push David Raya, and if he's messing around, he could be dropped, but fits the philosophy, which I think with Aaron Ramsdale and Matt Turner last season, with the greatest of respect to Matt Turner, he's nowhere near Ramsdale. And I think for this season, at the very least, when you've got Aaron Ramsdale and David Raya pushing each other, it brings out the best, really and truly. I know Mikel Arteta has said, I want two great players in all positions, and I think he would love that. But I don't think Aaron Ramsdale will persist with being on the bench for another season, and you hope you can just get decent money. What I would say to Aaron Ramsdale, you've been a fantastic serviceman, and I think when you come into this club to look to what looks like when you're departing, the language and the sentiment around you has changed. People saying back-to-back relegation, why are we signing him for? During the season, people have been angry Aaron Ramsdale's been dropped for David Raya, so he can leave with his head held high with his 89 appearances in the Prem, PFA nomination, larger than life personality, and he clearly is loved within the club, and he's clearly a great professional. But unpopular decisions have to happen. As I said, people, it's as simple as that. Only time will tell. Who knows? In 18 months or something, David Raya could be the Aaron Ramsdale to this story, really. Who knows with Mikel Arteta? But the collective comes first. If life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. And if Aaron Ramsdale and a lot of the players that are on the peripheral things at the Emirates, if they were given equal game time, I'm not saying they would have let us down, but would we necessarily have the points? It is what it is in that regards, people. Let me know your thoughts on Aaron Ramsdale's future. Obviously, the mistake he's made, David Raya and everything else. Don't forget to hit the like button and all of that good stuff, people. Appreciative of you lot tuning in. Make sure you're taking in the rest of the content. One love.